Why, hello and welcome to this very special interview that we have set up for you, the community around Book Lovers TV. So pleased that you've decided to stop by for this very special interview. You know we love books and we love authors and sharing important messages here. And today I am really excited because I get the honor and privilege of getting to interview Dr. Carol Soloway and talking about her book, her new children's book, international #1 best-selling book called The Surprise Circus. And before I bring Dr. Carol on, I just wanted to play a little bit of a book trailer so that you can kind of understand what this book is kind of all about. And then we're going to come back to Dr. Carol here in just a second and have a really interesting chat. So let's watch the trailer right now.
The story, The Surprise Circus, is about a little girl who's disappointed when the circus doesn't come to her town.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show, Dr. Carol. Really appreciate you taking the time to chat with folks here at Book Lovers TV. Tell us about this book, The Surprise Circus. I just love this the message of this book as I read it. How did it come to be?
It came to be with a 5-year-old author, not just me. My 5-year-old granddaughter and I were sitting in the backyard, and I started talking about a circus, and she'd never been. And so we came up with this story of who would be in the circus, like a magician, and we were kidding around. The magician would make her baby sister disappear, and the dancing bear would make holes in the floor, and then it just snowballed, and we decided we'd write The Surprise Circus and have maybe a moral, because so many children's books, you read them and it's great pictures, great story, but what are you taking away? And that's what I decided I had to do.
Absolutely. You know, one of the cool things about this particular book was just the underlying message that I feel as a parent myself is so important and yet so lacking. And tell us a little bit about the message that you are trying to convey and communicate with The Surprise Circus.
The message is really when you believe in yourself. Like, for instance, this little girl, Aria, was a little nervous about how she was going to become the ringmaster of the circus. And her friend, who happens to be Les Brown's grandson, so he knows how to give messages and morals, and he told her, you know what, if you believe in yourself, what is it that you're great at? She thinks about it. I'm a great bus buddy. I'm a great friend. My mommy thinks I'm the light of her eyes. And then she realized she's a great big sister. So if we all realize what is it, that one thing that we're great at, and we believe in ourselves, then magical things can happen, even a surprise circus.
I absolutely love that. Plus, I really was delighted to learn about the connection with Les Brown. For those of folks that may not know, those parents out there that may not know, who is Les Brown?
Les Brown is the #1 motivational speaker. and we became friends, talking about bringing up our children, etc. And I do know his grandson, has already spoken to hundreds of people, maybe thousands. And we decided that we wanted to take his message, because he wrote the foreword, and in the foreword he said, it's never too early to motivate children, and our children are our future. Now, this book was written before the pandemic, and his foreword was written before the pandemic. And in it, he says, children have to learn what they can do, not what they can't do.
Wow.
And that's what is happening right now. And we wrote it in, I think we wrote it in November, or he wrote his foreword in November, and we wrote the book in November.
Such a needed message, and that's the other thing I kind of wanted to present here for folks listening and watching at Book Lovers TV. When you wrote this book, and when you put this all together, who did you have in mind that would get benefit and who would buy this book? Who did you write this book for?
We just wrote it as a lark, really. And then it just took wings. I mean,
took on a life of its own, almost, it sounds like.
It took a life of its own. And something else. The main character, Arya, is white, and the Les Brown's son is black. We did not even think that there was a racial issue. It didn't even occur to her. We were totally colorblind, which is such an important message for today. I mean,
absolutely. Yet another important message.
And that was not premeditated. That was just.
It was reality. Is what it was. It was absolutely reality. So that's super interesting. The fact also that this book shot to #1 best-selling status as both a brand new book and as an international bestseller. How did that come to be? I
emailed everybody I knew, and they started telling friends, and it moved the needle, which was so wonderful, because I really believe that children need to hear that they can do anything, especially now. I mean, my husband and I had an RV trip all planned across the country, and then
right.
That was it. And I was going to speak at libraries, etc. Not happening. So I'm so pleased that so many people saw the importance of this book for children. And, reading to your child 3 times a week. I was an English teacher, by the way, before I became a chiropractor, whatever. And reading 3 times a week or more makes them 25% smarter in school.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things that, once again, as a parent myself, I really enjoyed. And for me, I read to all of my boys. That time builds a stronger bond. It's not just that makes them smarter, but it makes your relationship with them as a parent, in my humble opinion, stronger.
And also I was always a storyteller. I had my sister convinced that she was a Martian. They were going to come back and get her. Not the nicest stories, but stories. And telling stories, that's how we relate. That's how we remember and learn. So, we've been storytellers since the cavemen.
Well, in fact, that's so important that folks understand, is that humans are programmed to communicate in stories. right? And
Absolutely.
I think, do you think that's one of the reasons why that this book has resonated so strongly with people, because it is told in a story format and tells such or communicates such a powerful message?
Well, the message is really hidden. I mean, if you're going to get a 3 to 8-year-old to listen and read a book, has to have fabulous pictures. And my then 15-year-old illustrator, I believe children have such talents, and we have to tap into them. My illustrator, we talked about Andy Warhol and doing colors that pop. So the children have to see fabulous pictures. I mean, Dr. Seuss. I said I want to be Dr. Carroll, and they have to be interested. And also a repetition is important. First the clown first the magician comes, or the juggler. In other words, they have to know what to expect. So we did that in terms of the pattern. So I think doing those things are why the children related. And, think of the stories your parents have told you, or they've read, that you've wanted to hear over and over again. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just wanted to kind of pick up on this crumb that you've kind of left for us. Did I correctly hear you say that your illustrator of this book, when you started the book, was 15 years old? Is that right?
And my co-author was 5. But now they're very mature. She's 6 and the illustrator is 16.
Well, so tell us the story.
And I'm a little older.
Tell us the story of how you came to hire a 15-year-old illustrator.
She has working papers. No. Her mother is my friend, and her mother was posting some of her pictures on Facebook, and I contacted the mother and said, do you think that we could do this? And I drew I don't know if you can see this, I drew the little girl, and I'm not an artist. And I drew, and she took it, and she and I were on the same wavelength. Whatever I said, I want the juggler to throw her baby sister in the air, and I want to see her panties going in the air.
Right.
We got it. Whatever we did together, there was such synergy. It was, I would say, most of the pictures took maybe one time, some took 2, but that was it. I described it and it was done.
Wow. So there was almost an instant synergy going on with not only your co-author and granddaughter, I understand, right?
Right.
But also the illustrator as well. So that's my next question for you. You also put together a free coloring book for folks. Did this illustrator do some of those illustrations as well for the coloring book?
She did all the illustrations. We just took out the color.
Oh my, that is so cool. So let's show folks where they can go ahead and grab the free coloring book. If you point your camera phone right here at this QR code, it'll pop a little website for you, and you click over to the website, put in your name and email address, and you can get the free coloring book as well. And of course, I do want to let folks know that the book is also available as well on Amazon.com. So let's show folks that. I believe we're right over here. So this is the page on Amazon.com for the Surprise Circus. As you can see, it's a #1 international Amazon bestseller and #1 new release as well. So so let me ask you, Dr. Carroll, this is you'd also mentioned, and I want to make sure that I'm clear on this part as well, that you are a chiropractor, right? And so
In
does
real
that
life.
does that relate at all to what you're doing here with this book? And I know that you're also the author of other books, which I'd like to chat with you for just a moment about.
Sure. It has nothing to do with anything.
Okay, fair enough.
No, that's not true. I'm also a qualified medical examiner, which means I examine patients and write very lengthy, really, really boring reports. And I can write. I was also an English teacher. So I decided I needed some relief, actually. And besides playing tennis, because, 11 o'clock at night, you can't really play. And I started writing, and that's how my writing career came to be.
Yeah, and by the way, just so that folks understand, this book has been so well reviewed. For example, I was just going through some of the Amazon reviews for the book, and it's been really well reviewed and continues to be well reviewed, which is one of the reasons why, once again, I wanted folks to jump on and go grab the book, The Surprise Circus. So if you are a parent, if you're a grandparent, if you're an uncle, an aunt, and this is written for between 5 and 10-year-old in that.
You could start. I know I test drove it on my 2-year-old granddaughter. I have 12 grandchildren, so I have a lot of. Even the 10-year-old liked it, and he's doing another book with me now.
Oh, that's so cool!
I know, it's
what a great legacy.
It's beyond anything I could have. Well, that's not true. My son came into my chiropractic practice, and my grandson is in the middle of chiropractic school. So that's a good legacy there too, right?
Wow.
So, wow. It's just so cool. It's so amazing. So the children's book is for, I guess, 3-year-olds. You could start certainly reading, and we test drove it on a 2-year-old who wouldn't let it go, and 3 to probably 8, 9.
Okay.
10, they should be in chapter books as an English teacher.
Okay, noted.
Noted.
Great, yeah, and the illustrations in this book are really.
Oh yeah, she did.
Well done. Lots and lots of fun. Let's hold that up to the camera so people can see a really good shot of some of them. And oh my, yes.
Yeah, she really did an amazing job.
She nailed it, didn't she? Wow.
Yep, she nailed it.
That is so great that you are doing that, and actually now not only does Aria have a great credit for her her future career, but so does your illustrator Olivia. That's a nice thing for a starting illustrator's portfolio, having had a #1 international best-selling book. What a way to start, right?
And the weird thing, and I don't know how this happened, but Amazon put it out in all these different languages, the cover. So I took screenshots, and I'm making Aria a little book, but it was in Spanish, Portuguese. I mean, I don't know how that happened, but it did.
It happened. It happened, and that's really all that matters. So one of the other things that I wanted to just ask you about, because we did briefly mention that you've written other books, I mean, in novels. Tell us a little bit about that. Actually,
one was picked up by an agent who has the screenplay done, and she's presenting it for book to movie. So I'm really excited. It's about, well, let's say you're in a store and suddenly you can't find your child. The panic, the horror.
Unfortunately, I do.
Yeah. Well, I decided to take people into the home and the hearts of a family whose child is abducted. But I didn't, it doesn't, spoiler alert, doesn't have a bad ending. I couldn't do the gruesome, gruesome stuff. But it takes you into the home while the child is gone, and you can feel the family dynamics and the finger pointing, because she went with the stepmother to the circus, to the mall. And so that shows you there are so many twists and turns, and when you're raw and vulnerable, how family secrets are revealed.
Yes.
So that's Gracie's Gone. That's my book. And it's so important. I spoke to a child who told me, my parents buy me books and they tell me to read, but I never see them reading. And 70% of people read only one book a year.
Wow.
And you're screwing up the statistics, and so am I. So you can imagine.
Yeah, we need smarter people. I think we can all agree on that one. And I know literacy and in having a good book that you're excited about reading does great things for your brain and neuroplasticity as well. Why can't I say that? But you understand what I'm saying, right? That is a really, really important life skill and habit to get into. That's just, once again, one of the reasons why I'm so excited about your book here, The Surprise Circus, that you can, get that habit started. You can get the children reading, and you can be starting to read with them as, a parent, a grandparent, aunt, uncle, or cousin even. The thing about it is that when you have good material to work with, it makes it so much easier, right? And that's one of the other reasons why I'm so excited about The Surprise Circus here. And not only that, the fact that you're working with and have worked with Les Brown is to me a big doggone deal, because Les is really an icon. He's a paragon in the industry, and has changed so many lives. And here yet again, he's touched on this book, which is changing other people's lives, or at least potentially so.
Well, he's most famous for saying you got to be hungry, right?
Right.
And in the book, his grandson explains to little Aria that she has to be hungry in order to succeed. And she says, well, we'll serve popcorn. And he explains that hungry means you have to want it so badly, and you have to be willing to work for it. So we've taken this icon's message to children.
I love
which
it.
Which is what was so important. And it's pretty hard to take an icon's message and make it so that children will understand.
Yep. And I think that you absolutely succeed in a very, very big way with The Surprise Circus. So I'm going to just really recommend for folks to go grab the book over on Amazon or wherever books are sold. And this is probably what I would really recommend, is for sure head on over to this QR code. So just in other words, all you got to do is point your camera phone in your phone camera at that little squiggly square that you see there. It will take you over to the website where you could then put in your name and email address, and it will take you to the page where you can then download the PDF of the coloring book. You can print up the pages and have fun as a perfect adjunct, as a perfect accompaniment to The Surprise Circus, either the Kindle version and or the hard cover version of the book as well. So with that, Carol, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to chat here with the Book Lovers TV community. I loved this book. It was so much fun and touched my heart to boot with such a powerful message. Good on you. Good on you.
Thank you so much. Stay tuned for the other children's books.
I can't wait for those. We'll chat again, I'm sure. Bye everyone. Go grab the book.